Welcome to part 1 of how to smoke a brisket, selecting and seasoning. Whenever you're smoking a brisket, there's a couple of things that I do when I'm selecting it at the market to make sure I get the best brisket out there available. The very first thing is, when I look at a brisket, I want to make sure that when I pick it up, that it is very, I guess you would call it pliable. It moves. If it's too stiff, if you pick it up and it's very, very stiff, that tells you that a lot of the fat that it has will not render. So if you can look for briskets that give you that give, like this one is giving you right here, that's a start of a beautiful brisket. The other thing I look for, if I can, is the marbling right here. And marbling means, let me see if I can get the camera a little bit closer, but the marbling means the fat that's trapped in between the brisket. That is what's gonna make it nice and soft and tender while it smokes. And the last thing that I look for whenever I'm looking for a brisket, it could be prime, it can be choice, it can be select, it doesn't matter which one you use. Whenever you're smoking this brisket, you want to try to get something on the flat end, which is going to be your lean part, that does not taper off too much and that is very close to the thickness to your round part, because, or your point, because the thinner this is, the quicker this is going to come out, and this is still going to have to cook a little bit longer. And also, this is just a bonus. If you are gonna smoke multiple briskets, I recommend that you get some that are very close to weight as possible. I'm gonna be smoking 2. Let's open these babies up and I'll go ahead and show you how I season these. First thing you wanna do here is you wanna pat it down a little bit. Whenever we talk about seasonings, you get to choose whatever you want. Salt and pepper is always a good choice. You're looking at a 50-50 ratio, you're gonna go that way. But I really like Rudy's rub. Now, I'm not an affiliate. They're not paying me to say this, but Rudy's rub for me is probably the best rub out there for my liking. This is a little bit of a spicy kick to it. If you don't have a Rudy's here in Texas that you can go swing by and pick one of these up, I will have a link on the description below so you can pick it up from Amazon. When I season a brisket like this, what I do is you want to start off on the fat cap. Now you do want to season this side, but you don't want to waste too much of your seasoning on this side, because this is the fat cap. Not too much of it is going to go ahead and hit the meat itself. So this one is more like a light dusting, if anything. You want to pick up the edges. You get all the edges, especially where there's exposed meat. And then I picked up one of these at Academy. This is what's going to be holding my brisket overnight. So I'm just going to move this over. I'm going to flip the brisket around. Lay it right there. But now here's where you can go to town on the meat, because this is the side that has the exposed meat. So if you're doing one brisket, this is it right here. What you'll do here at this step is that you'll go ahead and cover this up, put it in the refrigerator overnight, at least 18 to 20 hours. Do this the night before you're gonna smoke, and then you can go ahead and smoke your brisket. But since I have a second one that I'm gonna work on, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this baby off before I put this baby to sleep in the refrigerator. Stay tuned for part 2. Part 2, I'll be covering your smoker setup, and I'm actually gonna start smoking this baby, but this won't be until tomorrow. Keep on watching if you want to see my technique that I use to be able to season multiple briskets in the same tray. If not, we'll see you in part 2. So welcome back for those who stayed. Now, if you notice, I have my first brisket that I already seasoned. I already seasoned half of the other brisket. Before I lay this on top of this one, the second brisket on top of the first, what you want to notice is my round part is over here, my flat end is over here. So when you lay the second brisket on top, you want to go the opposite side. You want to put your round part on this side and your flat end over here so it can flatten out as much as possible. So I'm just going to try to lay it down gently so that it doesn't disturb the rub from the bottom. So by doing it like this, it's able to flatten out as much as possible. So now you just continue seasoning on this side. Again, this is the side you want to really focus on because this is the side that has all the exposed meat. You know, the question is always asked, well, how much brisket should I buy if I expect 40-50 people? Typically, if you want to be just average, you want to have about a fourth of a pound of meat per person cooked. And if you really want to roll them out of your house, you want to do about a half a pound. So if you have 20 people over, a 10-pound brisket will not cut it, because remember, when you buy a brisket that's 10 pounds, you're gonna lose about around a quarter or sometimes even up to about a third of the meat or the weight when it cooks. So if you're looking at 20 people, you might want to get yourself at least a 13 or 14 pounder just to be on the safe side. That's just me though. All right, so we're at this stage now that we have both of them ready to go to sleep. The next thing you want to do here is you want to cover it. I like using these heavy duty foil paper because it's tougher. And if you live in Texas, go get yourself some Texas Tough. And I have those for whenever I'm done smoking, but Texas Tough foil paper is really, really good. So this is gonna be big enough to where I can cover it up. Seal it up as much as possible. So now what you want to do here is you want to let this baby sit overnight. If you plan to smoke a brisket starting, let's say 8 o'clock on Friday, you want to do this on Thursday before 8 or close to before you go to sleep for sure. All right, so we're going to go ahead and load this baby into the refrigerator, let it marinate itself, and we'll catch you guys on part 2 when I cover your smoker setup and how to start smoking your brisket. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.